Welcome to Wicomico Public Library Center Branch. And today we're going to do bunny baskets or bunny bags, however which way you want to call it. And in your bags you should have a piece of paper that looks like this to tell you the pieces that should be in your bag. And all the pieces that's on this paper are probably going to be extra pieces in here. Your bag is going to look like this, a Ziploc bag. And inside of it, you will have your closure. Whether you're making a boy or a girl's basket, if you're making a boy's, you're going to have this for your bow. You see right here, and this for your bow. Now, these are your pieces, 2 pieces you should have for your holder. You're going to have 2 bunny ears, which you see right here. You're going to have the nose, which you see right here. And it's a very little piece. Then you're going to have 2 eyes. And you see the eyes on the basket that are in front of you. So taking out the eyes now, and also you will see 4 little teeny wires, and really thin, and they're for the whiskers. If you choose to do the whiskers. If you don't choose to do the whiskers, that's fine. This does not have the whiskers, and this does have the whiskers. But it'll be 4 pieces, and actually you will only need 2. And it might be just 2 in there. I put 4 in my bag, but I believe it's 2 because this is 1 piece and this is 1 piece. And you're also going to have a stick pin. The stick pin is actually to put the holes where the little thin wire is going to go through. So we're going to get started. Make sure you have wet paper towel to keep your hands clean from the glue, and a dry paper towel. I always find that convenient for me when I'm doing arts and crafts because the glue kind of gets to your hands. You can use arts and craft elmer glue, or you can use this glue. I tend to like the Elmer's arts and craft glue. That's just my preference. So in the bag you should have a piece like this, and then you're going to have 2 pieces that has the cuts on them on each side of it. Then you're also going to have your face-based piece, which is your bunny ears and the back of it. And we're going to start with our plain piece, which is going to be your front piece right here. And if you fold this back, this kind of keep you on not gluing your pieces this way, because it would be the wrong way. You're going to glue your pieces going this way with this piece down at the bottom. So your edge will look like this. And if you glue it like that, then your edge is going to be up like that. So we're going to make sure that we bend it back. That'll keep us focused on how we should be putting it on. Also, you will see, you can't see it that much on here, but it's like a little X right here that's dashed in, and the nose that's dashed in. Those things are dashed in so that you will put each piece in the correct place. So your eyes won't be going one up, one down. They'll be directly centered correctly on how it should look. So you're going to take the nose, and you're going to put some glue on the nose and place the nose on the piece, on the front piece of your basket, which is this one. And you want to make sure that you have glue. Don't over glue it. Where the glue is, when you place it down, the glue will start spreading out. Try not to over glue it. If you are doing this project with a child, this is the basic part that the child should do. but actually to put it together, I would suggest an adult does that. But the child can be involved with putting all the pieces that need to be put on to the basket or the bag, the bunny bag. Then you're going to take each eye, put glue on it. Don't overexert the glue, and if a child is doing it, kids like to put a lot of glue. They think that it'll make it stay a little better. So kind of really supervise how they put the glue, because you don't want the basket to have glue hanging out over to the eyes and across. And even if it does, it's their project and they did it, and they'll be proud of that they played some part in it. And so you want to glue the eyes on, and we're going to set it aside so that the eyes can dry up, the nose can dry up, so when you start utilizing to put the pieces together, the eyes won't tend to fall off or anything. Then we're going to take our bunny ears, and on the bunny ears, you will see diagonal lines that's showing you where to put the ears. And that's just so that it can guide you where the ears won't be one up and one down, or they're not even. These dashes or frames that's on here, you can feel it and see it on there, and you can really see it. You just can't see it on this video. So again, the top piece is going to be the top of your ears. The round piece at the bottom is the bottom of the ears. And if you notice, the top is a little thinner and the round piece a little thicker. So the top will go on top, and the round edge, larger round edge will go at the bottom. You're going to glue the ears on just as they have it diagonal, how they have it on to this piece right here. And you want to make sure your edges has most of the glue on it, not per se the inside, but the edges, because what I've noticed in doing projects is using the glue, the edges kind of lift up, and you don't want the bunny ears to lift up in the midst of you doing the project, or if you're giving it to someone, you don't want the bunny ears to come up like that, because if you didn't put the glue all the way at the edge. So you want to make sure you do that and just kind of push it down so it will stay. And you'll see the lines on this bag. It's very visible when it's sitting in front of you. So you're going to make sure the edges are secure with glue, so the edges will stay down like that. You're going to place it. The thinner round part is at the top and the wider round part is at the bottom. Okay? And we're going to just rub it so it can, make sure you rub the edges. When I say the edges, you make sure you rub the edges down so they can stay down. They won't lift up like the bunny ears are popping out of its own ears. We're going to set that piece to the side along with the front piece. And we're going to take this piece, and they are exactly alike. Some of them, the hole hasn't been pushed out, so you want to take and push the little hole, so, and the hole is where it's going to hold the handle for it. And you want to just take it out. Some of them are already been taken out traveling through the bags and stuff. They just probably came out because they're cut out. If it hasn't been, then you can take it out. At the bottom of it, you're going to see a B on this edge right here, and you're going to see an F. The B is for the back, which is going to go on this piece of the back. This is considered the back where the ears are. The F is for the front. This is considered the front piece. So you can just fold them back. We're not going to fold them any certain way. Just make sure they fold. So, and you might, when you get ready to put it together, you might have to change the fold to the opposite way. But we're gonna fold them just like this. And again, we want to fold this piece because we want to make sure when we put it together that it's going to line up with that front piece, and it's not going to line up like that. And again, this piece will have your front and your back on it, down at the bottom, not at the top edge, down at the bottom edge. It'll be an F for front, B for back. And it's very important that you line it up like that because this does have a certain way where you have to put the front to the back, to the back to the front. If it didn't, I don't think the F and the B would be there. And we're gonna fold this back just to keep us in mind that when we start putting it together, that this is the top piece. Because sometimes you can mistakenly, because I did it, and that's because I didn't fold the piece back. So be sure you fold the piece back. And to get these curves like this, it's a little curve in the front, and it's a little curve on the back too. Not as much as it is with these three pieces. We're just gonna take it, curve it down on the edge of your table, so we can get the curve. Don't force it, it's just a smooth move. It's not a hard move, it's just a smooth move. The paper will curve on its own. So you see the difference? So it's just a slight curve, so when you put it together, it won't be so hard to put it together because the basket is a curved basket. I usually do these baskets every year for my nieces and my nephew, and they love them. It's like they look forward to it. You're going to take this piece too and curve it. And you're not going to do it so hard because you have to remember these are glued eyes on it. And so you're going to just take it gently and curve it. So it's a slight curve. And with this one, you just need a slight curve. Just a slight curve. And you're going to curve it from the inside because it's going to go curved on the inside. So now we're going to take the front piece of the basket and we want to put our first piece on. Now, you notice I have folded back that away. But this fold right here says B, which is for the back. So by me doing that, I can start either on this side, where my F is with front, or I could pull, take it around. If I take it around so that I can start on this side with my F being front, I'm gonna have to recurve it. So I don't wanna recurve it, so I'm just gonna take this F and start on this side for the front. Now, like I said, if you're doing this with a child, I would let the child do the gluing of the ears, the eyes, the nose, that part. This part is a little kind of tedious because you have to put glue on each piece and kind of hold it and let it hold it for a while so it can stick, and then you take it each one by one. So be sure that your curve is done because this is going to allow you to line it up. So these edges, once they get finished, I can kind of show you. And before you start the project, I would suggest you look at the video wholly by yourself. Just go through the video and look at it, and it give you a kind of feel of, especially if you're working with kids, if your kids are old enough or mature enough or responsible enough, or however you want to do it, so that they can put these pieces together. You will know if your child is patient enough to put these pieces together, because it is really kind of tedious, but it's such a gorgeous basket. They're very good gifts to give for spring break when the kids are out. If you celebrate Easter, and good Easter presents for kids. The kids really love them to death. They just really do. And you see how I'm dealing with it right now. I'm trying to maneuver it and make sure that I have it lined up. And this is why I say it may be better for an adult or a teenager. If they have an older sibling that can work with them, that has patience to work with them, you know, it'll be a good project to do while they're on spring break. I normally put grass in them after I make them, green grass, and put some little candy, jelly beans, chocolate in it. And I think that's why they really, really kind of like it. So once you start putting the pieces together, so you can either do, for me, it's because I've worked with it a lot, and if this is your first time working with one of the projects that I do, you have to have a little bit of patience, and because most of my projects have these little cuts, and once you start doing my projects, it gets easier and easier because you understand that these cuts are the main thing to put them together. Once you have it glued down, so I'm letting it sit and kind of dry before I try to take another step of putting the last piece together. If you notice, if you look, so once I glue the rest of the pieces together, right here, we're going to start working with the other side of the front. So now I'm going to glue these last two pieces together. And you kind of want to rub the glue together, just don't dot the glue on it. Kind of rub it so that the glue won't spread out or anything. It'll go securely on there. It won't be a challenge. It does slip and slide it, you know, but you can always just take your time in putting it together. If you get a little frustrated, put it to the side. Come back a day or two, or maybe an hour or two, or even when your house get quiet, and you're able to take your time and enjoy doing the project, because it is an enjoyment, it is a relaxation, and when you finish it, it's just something that you're like, oh, that really looks really good. So I'm gonna let that part kind of dry before I start on this side of the bag. And we're going to go to our bow. If it's a girl, you're going to have a pink bow. And normally I set the bow up here, and it's just put glue in the middle of it and just hold it. I put a little bit of glitter on this bow. The boy's bow you could put down here to as if it's a necktie, or a bow tie. So just like that one, you would take it and curve it so you can get that round look of the bow. That's what I do. I kind of curve it so I can get that round look. When I first did it, I didn't curve it, and I had like a square bow. And I wanted that round bow look. So there's two pieces at the edge. You're gonna bend back right here. The bow is two pieces. You're gonna bend back like that. And this piece, you're gonna put glue just on the edge that you bend back. It's not a whole lot of glue. And you're gonna actually line it up with this part right here. You're gonna line your edge with this part of the edge. And that'll give it the round look. Okay? Just hold it for a moment. And I didn't hold it too long. You see how it just popped off? So you have to make sure you kind of hold it so it can dry. I did do this project. I did think about how tedious it would be, how long it would be, but I thought it was such a pretty project. And like I said, I do it every year for my family, and I make about 3 or 4 of them for them. So if you get the project done and able to have it, even if you doing it with your child, you can put it on display. And when the company comes in, they're so amazed of how it looks. So we're going to do this side the same way. We're going to line it up with the end of the edges and just hold it. And see, while we're doing the bow, my piece on this side is drying. So when I start messing with this piece, this edge is when I start moving. They will stand still. Just hold it. And then this is the other edge of the bow. You see, you only have one soup, so we gotta get the other soup around it. And it's an edge right here you're gonna fold. Then it's an edge right here you're gonna fold. The fold is gonna go glue. Now, I fold it just like that. Now see, when I put it on there, so the fold is incorrect. The fold is gonna come this way to this way. So you have to be real strategic on how you do it. So you see it's correct now. And I'm glad I did it that way so that you can understand before you actually glue it together. Put it up to it and make sure that it's going to be glued correctly. And even if you kind of made a mistake and glued it incorrectly, any of the pieces, you could call the library and let them know what piece that you need to have recut. And I have no problem if we cut them for you, because we are human and we do make mistakes. So, and we want your project to look perfect. As perfect as this would kind of look, hopefully. So there's the bow. Now I would take either a pair of scissors, or you could do it on the table and curl it up like that. And you get that curl look for the bow. Now, this one inside of here is curled, but you really can't see it. Once you stuff it with grass and put your little goodies in it and everything, it's just really adorable. So the bow is curved. Now we're gonna set that to a side so it can kind of dry. And we're gonna go back to this piece. Now, make sure all the edges is correct. You should have a hole on this one, a hole on that one. And your F is on the curve. Now, if you notice when I glued this part, this is how I lined that piece up. So you're gonna do the same thing for this one. So that fold is very important because it helps you to line it up on how you should glue it at the bottom. Again, we're going to glue this piece just like we did the other side. And we're going to kind of hold it so it can dry correctly. And I normally go ahead and put my glue on it just to have something to do. And like I said, take your time. I can go through it because I've done it so many times. And the more you do my projects as they come out, you will get used to working with putting these coins I call triangles, horns. They look like little coins to me. And it gets easier and easier. So while I have you here, we're going to be doing a Mother's Day card. So husbands, older kids, little kids, you can put your Mother's Day card together. It's an adorable Mother's Day card. It's easy to put together. We don't have coins, we don't have these little things right here to put together because it's actually a card, a beautiful card. You get to write what you want in it and everything. So I just put glue on all the rest of my pieces except for the last one right here. And I'm just gonna hold it. And sometimes it's good to lay it down and kind of just put it in place. I find that to be easy sometimes as you get to keep putting pieces together. Now this is one of the more complicated ones that I've done so far with you guys. And hopefully you will enjoy it. Your guests will enjoy it, the kids will enjoy it, and actually the kids will show it off because they'll be so amazed of their own project. Now I just have it sitting here for a while because I wanted to kind of dry before I start gluing the last piece to the front part of the basket. It's dryable, so I'm going to kind of pull it back and put glue on my last piece. Once you put it on there, remember you need to spread your glue around so it won't be in one place and be on the whole edge. Now, I want to show you something when I get finished. All of my edges are lined up. And sometimes it might not line correctly up, but it won't look bad at all. This one I've noticed that right here it's not completely around, but that's just something that I see as an arts and craft person. So I don't want you to get discouraged or, oh, it's incorrect, and you don't. It's still beautiful if you can see. It still looks fabulous. Now the empty part is the back that we're going to do. But right now we're going to kind of let it sit because once we put the back on, we don't want these pieces that we just completed to start coming off because the glue hasn't really dried completely enough where it won't come apart. If you have glue on your fingers like I do, this could be a good time to clean it while we're waiting. And I don't want to clean my fingers like that because it gets all on your project, especially when it's a white project. So while we're waiting for that to dry, we're going to take our stick pin off. And if you're going to do the whiskers, this would be a good time for you to take a stick pin, stick it there, and then you're gonna go just diagonally, not lined up right with it. You're gonna go a little diagonally, not too distance apart. If you look, it's not too distance apart. Okay? You're gonna take your pin all the way down so your wire can go all the way through. And you're gonna do the same piece over here. And it's no certain way. You don't wanna be up to the nose. You don't wanna be up to the eyes. You wanna, most rabbits, cats, their whiskers are down from their nose. So you just wanna actually come down from the nose and just punch it in. Now, we're gonna do the back. And I'm gonna start on this side. Make sure this is fold back, because this will allow you to know how to actually line it up with the curve like that. Okay? If you guys can see it. So I'm gonna take this piece first. Rubber glue. And like I said, if you get a little frustrated with it, because you can, because these curves is really, really kind of frustrating. I need you to just put it down, put it to the side, come back to it maybe the next day or a couple of hours later, and this will allow you to be able to have a little bit more patience with it, because it is a little tedious because it's actually on a curve. If it was straight down, it would just be no problem. But because of the curve we want in the basket, it's allowing you to force the paper to curve. Force it to glue curve too. So I think it's kind of dry, the piece that I just did. So I'm gonna put some on the rest of them. And I want to kind of rub it so it will be on each one of the corners. And sometimes you might just have to sit it down and allow it. Take your fingers inside and just hold it down. Just take your fingers in the inside of it and hold it down. If you want to put some little glue on your bow, for the girls you can. If you want to put something in the middle of your bow tie, you can. Notice. So now I'm going to take the last ones, put some glue on them, and then I'm going to kind of rub it so it can stick like it's supposed to. And I'm wiping the glue off my fingers because I don't want it to get on the actual project. So I'm laying it down, and if you can see this, and I'm just setting it in. My fingers are in the inside, holding it down so it can glue. And I'm just making sure the curve is there. I hope this is not too long or too tedious, and I cannot stress to you that if it gets too tiresome, too stressful, the kids, really younger kids, do not have the patience to put it together like this. So I would suggest, like I said, for you to just let them do the gluing of it, and even when you finish putting it together, maybe they can put the whiskers on it and put their little handles on it. They can also make it as a gift for a grandparent. If the grandparent cannot eat candy, they could put little gifts in it, little trinket gifts. Maybe pictures, since we've been in COVID, maybe pictures that they have taken on the phone, the cell phone, or something like that. Just little different things that they know, that you know, or they know that their grandparents would really adore. So it's not only just for kids, it could be, they can make it for their grandparents or someone that they care about, that they love, and it's a good project that they could do to give to someone. So I'm lining it up again, making sure that it's edge open right there. I'm holding it with 2 fingers now. You notice that when I was putting it together, I was holding it with 1 finger, because now we're coming to the closure of it. And you would think it would get a little easier, but it kind of does and it kind of doesn't. If you're new to doing these projects, I say take a break, because you can get a little frustrated about the tediness of it and the carefulness of it, so that the project can look decent. So now I'm gonna put glue on the rest of them. And then this is where I'm gonna lay it down like we did the other side, because it makes it a lot easier to hold the glue in. So you see, I'm taking my hands inside and just pushing it out to make my curve. And just holding it so it can glue correctly. It can dry correctly, I'm sorry. It can dry correctly. And it's still not dry as much because I just let it go and it wasn't dry. So you want to make sure it's dry, because this is the last part. So you don't want to kind of move it before it has dry, because we're at the last part. And sometimes I find when I do the ending part, I get excited because I'm almost at the end of it. And I sometimes have to tell myself, no, it's not dry, just keep still, it'll be okay. So while we're waiting for just that part to dry, because I don't want to actually move it then, these are 2 pieces right here. So this is a much longer piece, and this is a much shorter piece. However, it's convenient for you. You could do it, but you just want to take it and twist it around, just like that, to get it ready. And if you want it shorter, you would bring it over a little bit more, and it'll make it shorter. And since we have the pink, and if they want to give it to grandparents, they can give granddaddy the blue, grandma the pink. So we got that done. Now I'm gonna go and put the rest of the glue on the ending of this project. Now I'm gonna rub the glue on the edges of it. And again, I'm gonna lay it down. And you're not looking at the inside, you're actually looking on the outside of it to make sure it's lined up with your curves. With your curves. You see? And this is lined up. And I think it's kind of dry. Now what I did with my ears is I took a pencil, because this one is curving over. You could keep it curved over because some of the rabbit's ears do curve over. Or you could bring it in like that if you like. Or you could keep it curved up, or you could curve it where it's gonna stand up. It's up to you how you want to set it up. This one I didn't curve in. It's just at its normal stage. This one I brought in like a curve. So it's up to you how you want to set it up. Now that we have done that, we're going to use, so you're supposed to have 2, not 4, in your bag. And I'm going to show you how to do 1. So the holes that you have punched in, you're going to take your first and let's go in. Go down, just leave a little bit of it out. Then you're gonna kind of turn it over so you can see where the other hole that is on the inside. And this is why I say push the pin all the way down in it so that you actually can see where that hole is. And you don't have to wait to the end to do this part. I just did wait to the end. And it's probably better to do it at during the time that you do the eyes and the nose. So you want to make sure that they're not evenly, because whiskers are not evenly unless they just came from a groomer. And you want to take your tape and you want to put your tape on the piece of the inside so it won't come off. Okay? And that's it. And take your whiskers, pull it out however you want it to do it. It's thin enough for you to move it, to curl it if you want it to be a curl or anything. And you're going to do the same side for this one. Okay? So you're going to take it in first, then bring it back out first. Out. Then you're going to take your handle. Put your handle in the first hole. And it's not a tied in a knot, it's actually just wind on. Just like that. You're going to do the same side over here, take it through and wind it. Your bow, if you're doing a girl's bow, you can put it here, you can put it there, just about anywhere you would like. The boys, it's going to go right down here. You will put your glue right there, and you gotta kind of hold it so it will stay glued. Now when you're doing the bow for the boys, you're going to put it in front of you. So you can make sure that it can sit with no problem. Okay? Now the ending part to this project, it will be done, is to close it so that you can put your goodies in it, your grass in it, and things that you want in it. So you're just going to glue this together. We'll put glue here on this edge, and this edge. And let's just rub the glue around so we can make sure that it's glued on the whole part. And then we're just going to lay it on down. And we have closed the piece down. You can set it down. Take your fingers in, press it down. if you like. Just hold it and let it glue in. Okay. So when I put my fingers down in it, it punched out a little bit, so I came back in and make sure that it was sealed. Because you don't want it to come through when you start putting the gifts or little things inside of it. And here's your project. I hope you enjoy it. I see you guys on Mother's Day, around Mother's Day for the Mother's Day card. Thank you, appreciate it.